Hello everybody and welcome back to What If Midoriya Found the Omnitrix, which means everything from Ben 10 universe kind of exists in MHA now, because that's how I do things, even though some people don't like that. I think it's more fun story-wise. This is a big one, with the next one also being a big one, which is a continuation of this one, because like the Forest Training arc and the Rescue arc are one big arc, like two chapters of the same thing. The next ones are kind of the same. This one focuses on the Forest Training arc. It will deliver exposition about stuff. It will introduce people. It will finally have the reveal of someone and stuff. So enjoy it, like it, subscribe to it, or well, to my channel, not to it. And check out the Discord where you can theorize and talk about it all you want, because we have different ranks and different roles and stuff that you can pick in the main site. Yeah, but all that said, I want you to above all, please enjoy the video after that intro. 5 months ago, Vilgax was pursuing a ship in search of a particular item. The ship was near planet Earth, and although it was basically destroyed, it managed to defend itself, sending Vilgax out of commission and sending its cargo to the planet below. Vilgax sent robots to the planet below in order to retrieve the device, but they were destroyed by a group of superhumans. Fine, we'll just have to use the help of our friend then, the alien said. I'm sure he'd be happy to make some sort of deal. He went on to contact his old friend, All for One, and hammer out a deal. He'd lend them his technology and some resources in order for them to capture and bring him the Omnitrix. In return, Vilgax would let him have the Earth once he conquered the galaxy. All for One accepted. 3 months ago, the League located the Omnitrix, finding out it was possessed by a student going to UA High. Vilgax sent his robots to assist, but they were taken down. A week after, he sent 3 bounty hunters to capture and deliver the Omnitrix to him, but they were mostly taken down by the school's security. Since his body was damaged, the tyrant known as Vilgax could do little more than watch. He watched as the boy used the Omnitrix in the sports festival. A week after that, the League informed him that they found the boy again. He sent his drones to assist them again. The drones located the Omnitrix but were destroyed. The day after the final semester exams, Aizawa informs the students that everyone, regardless of if they passed or failed, will be going to the training camp in the woods, causing many students to cheer. However, they will have to work harder, informs Aizawa. Needing supplies for their trip, some of the students decide to head to the mall to buy some stuff. They all have a nice time buying and shopping together. Shigaraki goes to the same mall while thinking his situation over, not noticing the students, their paths don't cross. A day later, through a secure communications line, All for One says, "Well, it seems we're planning our own siege of UA. At the point that they're the most vulnerable. You'll have your price soon enough. Your failures in the past have weakened my trust in your organization. If you were involved yourself like the last time we worked together, then I take it as a guarantee the job would get done. But considering your current state, I don't trust that you'll live up to your end of the bargain. I have supplied you with my technology up to this point in order for you to retrieve the Omnitrix, but your pupil has squandered every chance," retorts Vilgax, angry and impatient. "My current state is nothing compared to your own. Tomura Shigaraki has had some setbacks, I'll admit, but the current situation is most advantageous. The students will be secluded in the woods with only 3 heroes there to protect them. Thanks to the last encounter we've had with them, Tomura has amassed more of a following. They'll be attacking their training camp in the middle of the night, catching them by surprise. We'll take the boy, informs All for One. You are no one to be able to talk about my condition, says Vilgax, turning the camera on and showing his current state. My injuries finished healing 31 rotations ago. I just wanted to know when you and if you'd retrieve the device for me. When last we met, you were a formidable opponent and asset. You earned my respect, but your obsession with your pupil is insufferable. I'll be joining in the mission. I'll retrieve the Omnitrix myself. You can have your little planet, don't worry. As a sign of good fate, I'll give it to you. But the Omnitrix will be mine. Back on Earth, a couple more days pass. While the villains get organized, the students of UA get ready for their training camp. The day of the training camp arrives, and Aizawa gives everyone a pep talk before boarding the bus. I'm so psyched! I've been looking forward to this camp all semester, Midoriya, says Ochako, approaching him. Yeah, it's definitely close, huh? Asks Midoriya, a bit nervous since Uraraka's right in front of him. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun, she says. Class 1B starts boarding, with Monoma trying to start kerfuffle with 1A, but Kendo stops him in time. After, Ida tells everyone to start boarding. In the ride over, Midoriya fiddles with the Omnitrix a bit, unlocking his 20th alien, Clockwork. Uraraka decides to take a look and name all the new transformations that Izuku has unlocked over the past month. What does this one do? She asks, looking at the eye guy silhouette. Midoriya opens his notebook and explains exactly what he does. Eye guy, she suggests as a name. She goes to the next one, it being Cannonbolt. What about this one? Midoriya again explains. Ochako thinks for a moment and then suggests, how about Rolling Rock? You know, like rock and roll, but backwards. She ends up naming Nanomech Tinycopter, Wrath, but with a W, Clockwork Chrono Wind, Molestache, NRG Fallout, Walker Trout Slithery, and Ditto Splits. After an hour of traveling, the bus stops for a bit of a pit stop. The students examine the area around them and start putting two and two together. The Wild Pussycats show up, which Izuku kind of freaks out about, listing all their stats and information. Mandalay starts explaining the situation a bit, and the students are thrown into the woods with the objective of reaching camp. Mida, needing to pee, runs into the forest, but he finds a giant monster that attacks him. Midoriya hits the dial of the Omnitrix very quickly, turning into Speed Lizard and rushing to push Minute out of the way. He then switches to Four Arms and smashes the beast, noticing that it's made out of earth. More monsters show up, and the class, now knowing they aren't living creatures, start fighting them on their way to the training camp. After 4 hours and 40 minutes, the class arrives at the training camp, exhausted and overtaxed. They are congratulated for taking less than expected, and Pixie Bob notes that Bakugo, Ida, Todoroki, Midoriya, and Ochako did exceptionally well. Midoriya tries to introduce himself to Koda, but is blown off after being hit in the nuts. The students then have a big dinner, later going to the hot springs to relax a bit after such a long day. There, Mineta tries to get a peek at the girls' side, but is thrown back by Koda. He, however, catches a look, which causes him to faint and fall back. Midoriya hits the Omnitrix, turning to Spectral, and catches Koda before he hits the ground. He takes Koda to Mandalay to get looked at, where he finds out about the boy's history. The next day, the training truly begins. Midoriya spends most of the time in the camp training his human form in case of emergencies, since it is the form he spends most of the time in. But he also spends a lot of time training with other transformations. Aizawa wants him to prolong his time limit, but no matter how much he transforms, the time limit is always 10 minutes. That night, Midoriya takes some curry to Koda in order for him to get something to eat, and shares some of his backstory with the boy. Of course, he hides it, saying that it was his friend. On the second day of training at noon, Midoriya keeps on training. He turns into clockwork, shooting a time beam at a plant to see exactly what he can do. He then creates a time bubble, accelerating time around him or slowing it down for everyone else. Who knows? "You called?" asks Paradox, showing up out of nowhere. "What? Who are you?" asks Izuku, confused. "And how are you here?" "Professor Paradox, at your service." "I thought we had already met," says Paradox, looking at his pocket watch. "Oh right, the whole time reset thing that your friend managed to do. I am too early in this timeline, we haven't met yet." "Well, I have, but you haven't." "This is not making me less confused," comments Izuku. "Your timeline was compromised in an attempt... Actually, I'm pretty sure you aren't meant to find out yet. I get the sense that I came too early. Probably because of Chronosapien stasis fear. It must have had an effect on the space-time curvature that tampered with my travels," he explains. "You are learning new things that you didn't have access to in the previous version of events." Midoriya looks at Paradox confused and says, "Look, Paradox, was it? Is there any chance you could speak in a way that made a bit more sense?" "I do apologize, I tend to do that a lot. Using your abilities, you created a sort of sinkhole in time that brought me here. I meant to only appear a couple months from now. I must be off now. You've made me late enough as is. See you next time. Oh, and do be careful with the Vilgax encounter," he says, opening a portal and leaving through it. The Omnitrix times out and things go back to normal, with Midoriya choosing not to think about the confusing situation. The day continues with the students training and making lunch for themselves. At the end of the day, the class play a little game. A test of courage in order to pass the time. Lots are drawn to determine the teams, and Midoriya ends up alone, with his classmates apologizing for that fact. The game starts with the first few teams going in. "Is it me or is it kinda chilly?" comments Uraraka, hugging herself for warmth. "Here," says Izuku, handing her his jacket. "I'm not using it, so if you want to." "Thanks," Uraraka says, putting it on. 12 minutes after they began, something happens. The villains make their move, with part of the forest being set on fire and a gas appearing over another part. Magna and Spinner show up at the clearing, taking down Pixie Bob and scaring the students. Midoriya looks at Mandalay and the thought crosses his mind. "Oh no, where's Koda?" he exclaims. Mandalay sends a telepathic message, informing everyone about what's happening. Spinner introduces himself to the group, telling them that they are the League of Villains Vanguard Action Squad. Before a fight can start, Mandalay orders the students to return to camp, putting Ida in charge. Midoriya, however, tells Mandalay that he knows where Koda may be. She tells him to get Koda to safety, so Midoriya hits the Omnitrix. A flash of light occurs behind the heroes, and Midoriya emerges from a speed lizard. He rushes into the woods, intent on fighting and helping Koda, just as Vilgax steps into the clearing where he just was. "Ah, there's my prize. It'll be mine soon enough," says Vilgax in menacing tone. Midoriya runs through the woods, heading to the mountains. As soon as he arrives, Muscular's about to punch Koda into oblivion, but Midoriya grabs the boy and sets him down a couple meters away. "Oh look, a hero came to save you," says Muscular. "What are you doing?" asks Koda, not wanting anyone to help him. "Who even are you?" Midoriya turns back to his regular self so Koda can recognize him. "I'm here to save you," he says. "Now you I recognize. You're at the top of the list. Good thing too, I just need to bring you in, dead or alive," Muscular shouts, rushing at Izuku, ready to punch him. Midoriya hits the Omnitrix, turning into forearms, catching Muscular's arm with two of his fists. "Why are you guys after me?" asks Midoriya. "I honestly have no idea, kid," answers Muscular, throwing another punch, which Midoriya catches using his third hand. "But they warned me not to underestimate you. I'm honestly just following orders here. It's you and Katsuki Bakugo I'm supposed to get. Midoriya, hearing his friend's name, punches Muscular in the jaw with his free hand. He then hits the Omnitrix, switching to Inferno and shooting fire at Muscular. Muscular tanks the hit, but isn't really affected, just replacing the burnt muscle fibers with more. Midoriya runs at him and switches to Jaws, biting into him. Muscular tries to grab Midoriya and throw him against the wall, but Midoriya switches to Spectral. He flies away and turns invisible, punching Muscular once or twice, but Muscular barely feels it. Fine. If I can't see or touch you, then I'll just get the kid, says Muscular, walking towards Koda. Midoriya shoots tendrils at Muscular, trying to stop him, but Muscular just keeps going. Midoriya changes to Crystal Fist. Muscular charges at Koda, but Midoriya manages to erect a barrier in the way, blocking him. He then encases Koda in a diamond dome in order to protect him. He then switches to Fallout, aka Energy. Leaving the armor, he attacks Muscular repeatedly. Muscular takes the first few blows without much of a problem, but the more he's in contact with Energy, the more the radiation weakens him. He ends up passing out, at which point Midoriya transforms back into Four Arms and breaks Koda out of the dome. While he was fighting Muscular, back at the clearing, Vilgax took down Mandalay and Tiger in less than 5 strikes, taking them down rather easily. This is what you call heroes? Pathetic. It makes me wonder how they were able to stop my forces, comments Vilgax. What should we do now? Asks Mage. Do whatever you wish, you vermin. I'm going to retrieve my prize, answers Vilgax. You actually won, but why would you sacrifice yourself for me? You don't even know me, asks Koda just after Midoriya gets him out of the Diamond Dome. Yeah, I won, and I saved you because that's what a hero does, even if you didn't want to be saved, says Midoriya, turning back into his regular form, exhausted from the constant transforming and the battle itself. He was pretty tough though. I threw everything I had at him. Then you are really wasting the power you hold in your hands, says Vilgax, stepping into the battlefield. Oh no, another one, thinks Midoriya. Vilgax steps towards Midoriya, spotting Muscular on his way. You seem to be more formidable than I thought, for a human at least, being able to defeat such a strong opponent such as him. I assure you, I won't be taken down so easily, says Vilgax in such a way that it scares both Midoriya and Koda. Koda, run away. Get as far away from here as you possibly can, shouts Midoriya. Koda gets up and starts running away. Let him run. I have no quarrel with the child. You're the one I'm after. Well, the Omnitrix to be more precise, comments Vilgax. You want the Omnitrix? What for? Asks Midoriya, trying to buy a bit more time. What for? What you hold in your wrists is the most powerful device in the universe, explains Vilgax. And you squander its potential by using it to win in some silly competitions, even failing at that. Imagine an army with the power of that device. I'd be unstoppable. With the limitations it has, I doubt unstoppable is the right word, comments Midoriya. Ha! Your feeble mind can't grasp how to properly operate such a device. I'm a benevolent being, so I'll give you one chance to hand it over, and I will leave this planet alone, says Vilgax. Yeah, right, like I'm going to believe that, says Midoriya, hitting the Omnitrix. He's enveloped by a flash of light and emerges from it as Wrath. Let me tell you something, Squidface, you aren't getting this watch from me. We are kinda attached, shouts Wrath as Izuku jumps at Vilgax, trying to slash him. Vilgax moves out of the way, hitting Izuku when he lands on the ground. Before his fists make contact, however, Midoriya switches to Spectre. Even as an ectoneurite, you won't escape me, says Vilgax, grabbing a phase shifter from his back and throwing it at the ground. He punches Midoriya. Midoriya tries to go intangible, but finds himself unable to, being hit by the punch. He gets back up after a moment, switching to energy and tries to take down Vilgax in the same way he did Muscular. The current level of radiation that your Pipetosium B form is creating is powerful, but the current level you are creating is not enough to bring me down, says Vilgax, punching Izuku. Midoriya gets back up, switching to Inferno. He starts shooting fire at Vilgax. Vilgax tanks it, getting closer, so Midoriya heats up more and more, going supernova, trying to stop Vilgax. Vilgax keeps going, but before Midoriya can do anything else, the Omnitrix times out. Not now, says Midoriya, slightly frustrated. Vilgax hits him over the head, punching him against the wall, knocking him out and causing blood to drip from his forehead. Vilgax then calls his ship to come pick him up. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest, Aizawa fights off a Dabi clone and runs deeper into the forest. He runs across Tokoyami while looking for Mandalay, using his quirk to subdue Dark Shadow by temporarily cancelling him out. He orders both Tokoyami and Soji to return to camp, where they'll be safe. They obey their teacher in return. Aizawa keeps going, wanting to take his students to safety and take down the villains threatening them. While other students take care of villains like Uraraka and Tsuyu managing to drive off Toga, mainly using Uraraka's mana abilities, and the Class 1B students taking down Mustard, Aizawa keeps searching, finding Moonfish attacking his students. Using his quirk to disable Moonfish's quirk, Aizawa enlists Bakugo and Todoroki's help to apprehend them, ordering them to head back to camp after. Sadly, while on the way back, Bakugo gets captured. Aizawa searches the woods, helping people out. He searches a clearing, finding 3 wild pussycats on the floor with blood around them. He checks to see if they're alive. Moments later, Tsuyu and Ochaku show up. Heading back to camp, he enlists their help to take the heroes to camp with them. The League regroups after a while, using Kurogiri's portal in order to escape. At the same time, Vilgax's ship sends a retrieval pod. Vilgax shoves Midoriya into the ship, grabbing Muscular too, as a favor to his friend, but also he inspects his DNA later on. The villains escape, having kidnapped 2 students and injured many others. This is not a good day for the heroes. And that's the end of the video. With this video, you should have enough information to start making theories about stuff, because I'm only now setting the groundwork for stuff to come later, which is going to take me a while to do because I'm switching to 2 videos a week after this. Seeing that this is the last video that comes out in July, my 1 video every 2 weeks thing is now over with 2 videos a week planned, and I'm going to be switching between Shield Hero and MHA, so it's going to take me a while to get to the actual storyline that I want to get to, where it's explained how everything got reset. But you get a couple hints here that actually happened with Paradox showing up, because of course, if there's going to be timey-wimey exposition, you're going to have Professor Paradox, which is one of my favorite Ben 10 characters because I love the timey-wimey interdimensional storylines. That said, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and all that stuff, and be wary of what happens next, because it's not going to be the longest video. I already wrote the script. It should be out in a week or so from when this video releases. I'm only going to record it in a couple days. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, have a fantastic day, everyone. Check more of my videos and do all of that. Check out all my stuff. Check out my Discord. Give me your watch times if you want. Like, you don't have to. I'm not forcing you to. This is all up to you. If you like my content, always check it out, because I'm starting to make like this continuity thing in my own channel. Even want to add lores to my reboots and everything, because I thought that would be a cool idea and all that. That said, I feel like I'm rambling on for a while. I don't want to make these outros more than 5 minutes, and I don't want to speak too much in the intro because it might get you bored. So I usually do this in the outro. And yeah, I'm going a bit too long now. So everyone have an absolutely fantastic day. Have a nice summer or winter or whatever time it is when you actually watch this video. Because for me it's July, but for you it may be May or August or I don't know when because YouTube. So enjoy everyone. Bye!